everyone, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3 of my podcast, Book and Story World with author Priya Gurwal. In previous episodes, I have reflected on storytelling via different forms, as well as reading aloud some of or part of my own stories. Today, I thought I would take a look back and appreciate the storytelling element of video games. As a child in Year 4 at 9 years old, myself and sisters received our first game console as a Christmas gift. The console was a PlayStation. The first game we ever played was Heart of Darkness. The story of the game, named after a book with the same title by Joseph Conrad, is about a schoolboy called Andy whose dog is kidnapped by some evil monsters. Andy ends up in another dimension trying to rescue his dog. The game is then about Andy surviving in the evil dimension of monsters. Similarly to fairy tales, video games also introduced the concept of good versus evil into their video game storyline. Other childhood favourites were the Crash Bandicoot games, which is about the character Crash in an animal form who has to defeat the plans of the evil Dr. Cortex. Crash is given the responsibility of saving the world from the evil Dr. Cortex's plan for world domination. The video game revolves around the quest, with Crash eliminating enemies and overcoming obstacles. Other fun games from my childhood are the Tekken fighting games and the fun computer shooting game Unreal Tournament. As I got older in secondary school and went to university, I seem to have forgotten about the PlayStation for fun and entertainment until 2 years ago, in 2023, when my older sister gave me her old PlayStation 4 games console. I was thrilled to enter the world of video games again. My first attempt at a new game was playing The Witcher, based on a great TV series and book. The Witcher is about a monster hunter called Geralt, who is hired to kill monsters. During playing the game, I was in awe at the new style of game, with horse riding or travelling across landscapes with an icon guiding the player to let them know how far away they are from the next task. Although I thoroughly enjoyed playing The Witcher, I got stuck later on in the game against tougher monsters. This may be because I was new to playing video games again. The game may be suited to more experienced players. I have also enjoyed rediscovering The Sims since 2023. There have been many Sims packages over the years. As a child, I enjoyed playing as a Sim, looking after their daily needs and sometimes even making them go on dates. This time around, since 2023, whilst playing Sims 4, I have enjoyed using several new packages. As well as enjoying decorating houses, I have loved using the castle feature and attempting to build a castle for my Sim to live in. I have also enjoyed Sims 4 Magical Package, where my designed Sim has access to magical powers and a magical realm to practice and learn magic in, as well as to duel in. The attained powers can then be used in the Sim's daily life. I have enjoyed playing a high school student, university student, mermaid, vampire, werewolf, and I have even experienced being a Grim Reaper for a job and detective as a Sim. The Sims extra packages are wonderful. In the vampire one, the Sim burns in daylight and has to feed on the other Sim's blood to sustain itself in the world of Sims, complete with different neighbourhoods and locations. The vampire Sims also have magical powers like flying away as a bat, and it is remarkable fun to watch a Sim turn into a werewolf with the werewolf package, fly into a rage and wreck everything around themselves. The werewolf Sim can also join a werewolf pack, and there is a werewolf outdoor bar to hang around in. Living in a beach house and transforming into a mermaid with sea powers is also good fun. The Seasons and Holiday package also adds an element of realism whilst playing The Sims. Holidays include Love Day, Harvest Fest, Winterfest, and New Year's Eve. You can choose your Sim's story by making choices about how your Sim acts towards others, good or bad. I still enjoy finding my Sim a partner through dating, marrying them, and moving them in together. You can even have a baby in the game and raise them onto adulthood as a child of 2 adult Sims. The Sims is still a fantastic experience where it is entertaining to watch Sims either like my Sim's personality or dislike. Whatever your taste, you can always have a great time playing Sims. Another great experience during my video games rediscovery was playing the 4 games so far in the Dark Pictures anthology. One of the first games I played in 2023 was Until Dawn, which has now been turned into a film. I was wowed by the beginning of the story. Survival in the game is completely a result of which choices you yourself as a player makes when playing each character. The games in the anthology are also about a group of people surviving in a horror setting. The result of your choices could mean a few survivors at the end of the game, or none at all. Until Dawn begins with the group staying at a lodge in a place called Blackwood Mountain. Two sisters mysteriously die during the trip, their bodies never found. A year later, the brother of the sisters, Josh, invites the rest of the group from the previous year to the lodge again. The friends split up and the lodge is surrounded by snow. The night becomes a night of survival and fear as the group have to survive a masked antagonist and the creatures called a Wendigo. Until Dawn is an unforgettable, incredible experience. The next game I played in this style was in the Dark Anthology Pictures series. It was called The Devil in Me. This time in the horror survival game based on choices, 5 members of a documentary film crew are invited to a replica of H. Holmes Hotel, who was a serial killer. Soon the 5 are fighting for their lives as the replica hotel owner sets traps to kill them all. The game is full of shocks and fear, and again survival depends on your choices. Man of Medan is set during a diving trip on a boat where a group is investigating a sunken World War II ship. Little Hope is about a group of college students with their professor. They are stuck in the strange, foggy town Little Hope. The story also relates to witchcraft. House of Ashes centers around the 2003 invasion of Iraq, where 4 Americans find themselves in an underground temple surrounded by terrifying vampire-like creatures. Until Dawn is a standalone survival horror game by Supermassive Games, who also produced the Dark Pictures anthology. The choice-making horror experience is one not to miss. A creepy, eerie game I played is the Blair Witch Project game. The storyline of the game is set after the events of the Blair Witch Project film. The storyline is about a former war veteran and police officer called Ellis Lynch joining the search for a missing 9-year-old boy who has gone missing in the same woods as the Blair Witch Project film is set. Ellis is accompanied by a police dog. He tries to stay in contact with the rest of the search team via a walkie-talkie. The video game depicts confusing, eerie scenes along with flashbacks of Ellis's war days. The game is definitely not for the faint-hearted. However, it is a sometimes challenging, eerie play for those who dare to play it. A very enjoyable game is Hogwarts Legacy, which can span over a few months depending on how often a player plays. It is very interesting to experience the setting of Hogwarts in the game with a different main character and storyline. I remember playing the computer game Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets in 2003 and never being able to get past the basilisk at the end. The story is about a new 5th-year student in the 1890s who can wield something called ancient magic. As the student, your task is to help defeat the goblin Ranrock and his human accomplice Victor Rookwood, who lead a rebellion to take over the wizarding world through the use of the ancient magic for their dark agenda. The game is complete with puzzles, friendships, and defeating evil creatures. Hogwarts Legacy is a definite must-play, and flying broomstick challenges are also very fun. The Man Who Erased His Name is a very entertaining game. The full name of the game is Like a Dragon Gaiden, The Man Who Erased His Name, and is published by Sega. I haven't played the games before this one in the series, so the story opens with a man called Kazuma Kiryu, who has faked his death to protect his beloved orphanage, which comes under threat. He now goes by the name of Joryu and works as a secret agent for an organization called the Daidoji clan. Joryu's first task is to provide security during a smuggling operation, which turns out to be an ambush. As Joryu investigates, an organization called the Watazi family want an alliance with himself. Joryu's fake death is being investigated as he was recognized during the ambush. The game is a fun ride of fighting and helping citizens in street tasks. The Man Who Erased His Name is a definite fun game to play. Another excellent game franchise is the Mass Effect franchise published by Electronic Arts. The genre of the franchise is science fiction. In the game, the universe has been colonized by humans and several different alien civilizations using technology left behind by an ancient precursor race. The Mass Effect trilogy is about the main character, Commander Shepard, leading a task force to save the universe from a dangerous species called the Reapers. All the Mass Effect games, including Andromeda, are excellent plays and are a must-play for all. A stunning, engaging video game is Ghosts of Tsushima. The story is about Jin Sakai, a samurai on a quest to protect Tsushima. The story is about Jin Sakai, a samurai on a quest to protect Tsushima Island during the first Mongol invasion of Japan. The game has emotional ups and downs concerning Sakai's uncle, Lord Shimura. Sakai wants to save Tsushima no matter what it takes, and Lord Shimura risks the island's destruction by wanting to adhere to the Samurai Code of Honor, which may result in the destruction of all. The game has very engaging characters and is a great play full of fighting. Control is an action game by Remedy Entertainment, which I would say has an element of horror in it. The main character is called Jesse Faden, who becomes the new Federal Bureau of Control's new director. Her mission is to find out what has really happened to her brother. The Bureau of Control study and contain phenomena which violate the laws of reality. Faden has to also defeat an evil enemy called the Hiss, who have invaded and corrupted reality, possessing the agents of the Bureau. The game is an excellent play and sometimes even eerie and creepy. Vampire: The Masquerade Swansong is a role-playing game by Big Bad Wolf, published by Nacon. It is part of the World of Darkness series. The player can play in the role of 3 different vampires. The word masquerade in the title relates to the vampires existing in the world as a secret to the humans in the game. The story is about using the 3 vampires to investigate who ordered an attack on a meeting and reunification of 2 vampire clans. The game is about the 3's detective work in finding the culprit. The storyline and gameplay of the game is excellent and thrilling. Another great enthralling game in the World of Darkness series is Werewolf the Apocalypse: Earthblood. The story is about Kahal, who has a human form and werewolf form. He is an eco-terrorist werewolf who fights against the Pentex Corporation, who is polluting the lands. During the game, the character Kahal is usually tasked with breaking into the Endron's company buildings. It is great fun watching Kahal turn into a werewolf and defeat the guards. I hope more games are to come in the Great World of Darkness series. A fun game to play where I didn't need to consult YouTube for any assistance is Spider-Man Miles Morales. Peter Parker is Miles' trainer, as Miles was also bitten by a radioactive spider and now has powers. At the start of the game, Parker has to leave the city and entrust the safety of New York to Miles. Miles is under pressure to live up to Parker's reputation as Spider-Man. Miles has to protect New York from the war between the corrupt Roxxon Energy Corporation and an organization known as the Underground. The story is a fun watch and an entertaining play. Another creepy horror game is Vampire. The main character is called Dr. Jonathan Reed, who has been turned into a vampire. During his first bloodlust, he kills his sister Mary. The game is set in a 1918 London, which is suffering from the Spanish flu pandemic. The Doctor, as a vampire, is hired to work in a hospital and must combat the pandemic, along with the supernatural vampire epidemic of the Scowls, and must choose whether to feed on humans or not. The game also revolves around his choices. I found Vampire to be a riveting, interesting game and storyline. Another great game to play is Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. The main character is called Peter Quill. We see him at the beginning of the game hunting monsters, as it is his occupation, complete with his team, the Raccoon Rocket, Groot the Tree, and Gamora and Drax the Destroyer. The game also shows flashbacks of Peter Quill on planet Earth as a child, and then switches back to his adventures in the wide galaxy with different species. On the first job, the team end up on the wrong side of their patron, Lady Hellbender, as they fail in their task to capture a monster, as Quill accidentally releases an alien entity from a yellow gem. The team then need to save the universe from an evil organization called the Church of Truth. The game is really fun to play with a great storyline. I received a brilliant video game last Christmas called The Walking Dead, the Telltale Definitive Series. The game is split into different episodes. The story begins with an escaped convict called Lee escaping the police when he is... The story begins with an escaped convict called Lee escaping the police car he is traveling in when they crash into a zombie. Lee soon finds out that people are being killed and then turn into the zombies themselves. Lee ends up coming across a child called Clementine and becomes her guardian during the zombie apocalypse. They refer to the zombies as the Walkers. The game is also based on the decisions you make when controlling the character. The game is an emotional roller coaster of decision making and is extremely riveting all the way through. The characters are engaging and extremely memorable. Another excellent game is Infamous Second Son, which is an action-packed explosive experience. The game is the third installment in the Infamous series. The story is about a government organization called the DUP hunting down what they call conduits, humans who have gained magical powers. They are also known as bioterrorists. The story opens with the character Delson Rowe, who is vandalizing a billboard sign. Delson later acquires powers and becomes a conduit. His mission is then to free different parts of the country from DUP control. The gameplay and story are both exciting and riveting. Through your own decisions, you will decide whether Delson remains good or succumbs to evil with his new powers. Infamous Second Son is an unforgettable, excellent game. After a recommendation, I played Final Fantasy VII Remake. The main character is called Cloud. He is a former soldier of the Shinra Electronic Power Company. Shinra uses a form of energy called Mako to power the metropolis of Midgar. Cloud became disillusioned with the company and becomes a mercenary, joining a group called Avalanche to bring down Shinra, as they believe their use of Mako is destroying the planet. The game is complete with magic, monsters, and ancient beings. The game can also arouse fear at times via ghostly entities known as whispers. The storyline of the game is of a great standard and is a very engaging, enjoyable game to play. Finally, and most recently, I have been playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey for over a month now. The game is mainly set in ancient Greece. I chose a female to play as called Cassandra. Cassandra is a mercenary, also known as Mystios, which is a bounty hunter who can be hired to do tasks for citizens and kills for themselves if requested. The Mystios gets paid to do the job by the citizen. Cassandra becomes caught up in the war between Athens and Sparta on her travels. She ends up having to confront her dark past and sets out to reunite with her long-lost mother. On her quest, Cassandra finds that all of Greece is being controlled by a terrifying, powerful organization called the Cult of Kosmos. The cult members have infiltrated all sections of Greek society and are secretly controlling both sides of the war between Athens and Sparta. Cassandra makes it her mission to save Greece from the clutches of the evil cult destroying Greece. I have loved playing the game, appreciating the landscapes, missions, and depth of characters. I look forward to continuing playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Other fun games to play if looking for a relaxed construction experience is 2 Point Hospital and 2 Point Campus, where you build and run your own hospital or campus. The 2 Point games are a relaxed play, but you have to avoid bankruptcy when building. So, that was a look back at the great storylines featured in the video games I have experienced so far in life. I look forward to playing many more. And that concludes Season 2, Episode 3 of my podcast. Take care, everybody. Have a fabulous week. Bye-bye.